let's have a go at making Toad from Super Mario. I want to make Bowser, but he's going to be more complicated, so in the meantime, I think Toad's going to be quicker. So I'm starting off with some 6-inch chocolate cakes and also a 4-inch chocolate cake. So I wanted to use fairly small cakes for this one, and I'm just layering them up around like an internal structure that I've already built. So I haven't shown you how to build the structure on this one, but I'm thinking I might create like a different tutorial with all internal structures to kind of help you guys. If you think it'll be useful, let me know in the comments below. I am putting straws and things around the cake structure just to make sure it's food safe as well. And also a piece of card under where his head is gonna go. And then we're building up more cakes again. Anywhere where it's a little bit small and tricky to get in, I've used some cake pop mix. So I've used my offcuts of cake and I've mixed them with some ganache and buttercream. I did a bigger cake for the head, so I have got an 8-inch one in the middle. Now I didn't have any more chocolate cakes, so we've got a random 8-inch vanilla sponge cake in the middle, but that's fine, with another 6-inch cake on top. And again, we've just cut that and rounded it to the shape. So you want a really nice sharp knife for carving. Now once I've cut it to the shape that I want, or carved it to the shape I want, I'm just gonna put some ganache over the whole thing, and you can use a flexible smoother to kind of scrape it and smooth it down a little bit. You might need more than one coat for this as well. If you find your cake is crumbling, it might be that your ganache is just a little bit too firm, so pop it in the microwave, heat it up a little bit more so it's nice and soft, and then it should go over your cakes a little bit better. Modeling chocolate is great to use because it's nice and pliable and it blends and it tastes a bit nicer than fondant. I'm going to start with like his face, and I'm actually using modeling chocolate. So I'm using the Saracino modeling chocolate for this. I've dyed it to the color that I want. I'll put links below the video to everything that I've used as well, guys. I'm going to go for a slightly darker color for the shoes, but again, I'm just using the modeling chocolate, putting on any lines and stitching lines that I want on there. Now for the white bit, I'm actually going to swap to fondant just because it's difficult to get the modeling chocolate like a nice white. So we're going to swap to fondant for this. And it's just going to wrap around the bottom of him. Now I have kind of made it look a bit like he's wearing a nappy. So if I was doing it again, I would maybe spend a little bit longer doing his little sort of trousers. But make sure you're putting some lines in and stuff with like, you can use like a Dresden tool or even your finger just to push in some little lines. Looks like creases in the trousers. Next, we're going to cover his head. I've put piping gel on the ganache just to make it nice and sticky first. Again, I've used fondant for this and just rub it down. Now, if you find you're struggling to get it smooth, you can take a ball of fondant and you can rub that on top, and that will just help smooth it down a little bit. I'm trying my best to be neat around the seam around his face. And then we're going to roll some nice thin circles of red for the spots on Toad's head. And I couldn't remember whether Toad has like 4 or 5 spots. I think he has 5, so I'm putting one on the middle or the top of his head. And then what I've also done is put some armature wire on the end of his arm, and this will be for his little cane that he carries. Have you guys seen the film? I have been to see the film and I thought it was amazing, and I am definitely going to go see it again. I won't tell you too much about what happens in the film because you haven't seen it yet, but Toad was definitely my favourite character in there. So his arms, I'm just using some of that leftover modelling chocolate. So I'm trying to sort of create an arm with a little hand shape at the end, pushing it onto the body now. Anywhere where I know it's going to be covered up, I'm not going to worry about getting rid of the seams. So we're putting a blue jacket over the top of that arm and the other arm, and it covers the seam or the join from the top of the arm to the body. Now I'm going to start taking out little bits of modelling chocolate for like where the eyes are and the mouth, and you'll see at this point that the modelling chocolate looks really quite hard. That's because it's really cold in here. I wish I'd put the facial features on Toad while the modelling chocolate was still like nice and soft. So as soon as I'd put it on the face, I should have really put in his eyes and mouth. So if you're gonna have a play at one, put the face in before you get around to doing other bits and pieces on him. Okay, so let's roll nice and thin pieces of yellow for like the edge trimming around his jacket. And you can give it some little stitching lines if you want. I think it's called a stitching tool, this, I'm not sure, but it is really good for putting little holes in, little stitching marks. Okay, so I'm gonna take my leftover cake offcuts and we're gonna make some more cake pop mix. I'm actually gonna cut up some walnuts just to make it a bit more interesting for this one and mix them in. I finally found my gloves. I couldn't find my gloves earlier when I wanted them, but it's gonna make it a little bit less messy when you're kind of playing with cake pop mix if you're wearing gloves. And obviously more hygienic if someone's gonna eat your cake. Okay, so we've rolled a shape for the rucksack and like his little, is it a sleeping bag or mat? I don't know what it is that goes in the rucksack. But once you've rolled all your shapes in cake pop mix, you can put them in the refrigerator, let them harden, and then we can cover them all in fondant or modeling chocolate. So the big piece is his rucksack. I've tried to kind of put a little bit on each side for like the pockets of the rucksack. I've just gathered it all around the back and then we're cutting the extra off. And then we can put in, again, little lines and stitching details so that it starts to look more like the rucksack. So I'm gonna stick his little roll mat or sleeping bag or whatever it is on the top, and then let's add some more bag details. So the khaki color bit is actually the modeling chocolate that I've used again for this. Using more of the same color, let's make him some straps. And then I'm using black to create like little buckles. Also his frying pan, it's gonna go in the back of his bag. And then you can dust colour onto it if you want a little bit more sort of depth, a bit more detail. And you can paint some edible silver onto the black buckles just to make them look a little bit more buckle-like or a little bit more metallic. So I think that's him about done now. Maybe we do Bowser next. Let's get him cut up. Have you guys seen the movie yet? Let me know what you thought of it. I absolutely loved it. Hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time.